Hi everyone, welcome to the Q&A session. So before starting the session, I would like to just give you the information of the evaluation process. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So now we have completed the training in last week for all the modules. So the stage 2 is completed. Now, after this Q&A session, we'll start with the stage 3. So in this stage 3 is basically, we will be giving you an assignment for the modules that you have opted for. Let's say someone has opted for only ERP Next Core and manufacturing, or only manufacturing, or only account. So they will get the assignment based on that module, and will of course give you some like the deadline to submit the assignment, let's say 15 days or 10 days period to complete that assignment. And once you complete the assignment, you have to send an assignment to us on that same email thread. Okay, and once we receive the assignment, we'll review your assignment and then we'll schedule the in-person evaluation call. And that in-person evaluation call will again ask you some question based on the assignment, or maybe outside the assignment. Is basically to evaluate your product knowledge. Okay, and maybe that call will be only one call, maybe two calls based on the evaluators and the person who is giving the evaluation. Okay, and once the evaluation call gets completed, the evaluators will decide basically if that person is getting certified or not. So the last stage is basically once you completed all the process, all the evaluation process, you will get the certificate. Okay, so after this evaluation call, you will after this Q&A session, you will get the assignment on your respective email IDs. Okay, so this is what I wanted to explain you all, and now we can start with the Q&A session. Yeah. So if you have any questions related to overall modules that you have get trained on, so you can ask in the chat box, or either you can unmute yourself and directly ask. So Kitty, assignment will be, as I said, will be depending on the module that you have opted for. Let's say you've opted for only for manufacturing, so you will get the scenario based questions only on manufacturing module. So yeah,
it's mainly around, I think, making some entries. For example, we'll ask you to make a purchase order on, I think, rule is applied. Or make a blanket order, to make a subcontracting order wherein your quantity raw material is getting consumed and you're getting output. So we'll basically share such use cases so that we know that you are able to make entries in ERP Next. And maybe when we do 101 call, so we'll just give you some additional use cases, simple questions, so you can quickly walk us through that. So we want to basically ensure that if you're giving certificate to someone, they are able to make entries in ERP Next and understand what the things are.
Yes, Kitty.
Yeah, you can ask the questions, of course. So basically, it's really not like a classroom where is teacher. On the other hand, of course, we'll ensure that you know things. But if there is something wherein you don't have absolute clarity, we'll also guide you in the right direction and ensure you are able to make correct entries. So almost everyone who has tried giving assignment have completed evaluation. So be very, very optimistic. Most of you, all of you, I'm sure, will be able to complete evaluation. So do go for it. It's absolutely manageable.
And one more thing I would like to clear over here is this assignment is, and this evaluation process is only for the paid participants, not for the partner employees, those who have joined like this training for free, you can say, but this is only for the paid participants. Okay, there might be some partner employees in the call itself, so don't get confused with this evaluation and the partner evaluation.
And after all of this evaluation and everything, can we still be able to ask you some questions if you have any further?
Yes, we have discussed forums. We have multiple channels where you can ask the questions. Yes.
Is the Telegram group will be still online?
It will be active at least till 2 months. Well, like we have the period, like 3 months period to complete this evaluation process. So it will active only for the 3 months, not more than that.
So you say 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. I think we can start taking the questions. Yeah. So Ali has the question in the chat box. How can we connect sales order with the sales invoice for the same customer?
So I think you mean that there are multiple sales order and then you want to basically make a single consolidated sales invoice. Is that what you are trying to ask?
Yes, we have one fault. We have written a sales order and also for the same order an invoice. And when I'm checking the customer page, I can see only the sales order. But when I'm checking especially for sales invoices, I can see that sales order is also there, but they are somehow not connected together.
Well, they are connected together. Sally, I'll need share screen share permission. So let me share my screen. So if you can please maybe repeat yourself if you could. So here let me go to sales order first. Okay, this is the same test account. Okay, and these are the sales order which is made for this particular customer, Shweta Kulkarni, right? Sales number 17 to 23. If I go to customer master in connections, I see. Okay, so here you're saying that there's no link of sales order, is it? By any chance?
It's not.
Okay, so it's, I think it's, I don't know if it's there by default. If it is not there, you can still add it to the customized form. So what I'll do, I'll go to sales order. I'll say, and I'll go to customize, custom doc type. And in here, we are in the customized form of sales order. And there is a table called document links. So in the document links, if I add a doc type here called sales order, sorry, yeah, sales order. Link field name is customer. Okay, and I update it. In the sales order form, the field name for the customer field is named customer, is what it means, right? And if I go back on sales order, if I just reload, you'll see that customer is appearing here.
Okay, I see. I will try it.
Yeah, so count is not appearing. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe those are not open. So I think count appears only for the open document. Like this is ordered. Okay, so this is appearing. Payment request is also appearing. Right. So this is one thing which you can do. And if you want to basically make a sales invoice consolidated, so what you can do, you can make a new sales invoice. And in the new sales invoice, you can get items from sales order. And you can say you want to filter for, let's say, Shweta. Sorry, not here. It will also give you filter. Shweta Kulkarni, for example, right? So it's only fetching the invoices of Shweta. I will select all. I'll click on get items. So it fetches the customer and it also updates all the items which we ordered through different sales order. So here, if you look at the reference, this is sales order number 17. On second row, it is sales order number 17 again. But this item is from sales order number 18. This item is from sales order number 19, right? So each line item, it has fetched, and each line item has a reference to different sales order. So that's how you can basically make a consolidated sales invoice for a same customers multiple sales order. And same applies to your purchase receipt. You can make consolidated purchase receipt also. You can make partial purchase receipt also. Same goes with your delivery note, with your purchase invoice. If you have 4 purchase order and you want to make a consolidated purchase invoice, in purchase order, you'll find a button like this, wherein from where you can fetch multiple purchase orders. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. I have another question as well. Can we create a survey for our customers with a star rating? Is it possible?
No, sorry, I lost you in between. Can you please come again?
Can we create a survey for our customers with a star rating?
Star rating for your
Yes.
customer, is it? Yeah, yeah. So there is some, I think, help article available on this ERP Next customer rating. So you will have to basically make a custom doc type. And you can basically send that custom doc type to your customer wherein they can review you. So docs quality feedback. I think there is some help article from which you can
Yeah,
we can just look at this.
I watched some videos, but it was about quality.
No, I think I'll maybe you can just make a note of it and we'll share it on the chat later on. But there's some small customization you have to do to get the customer rating.
Okay, thank you.
You'll have to basically make a new doc type if I can like quickly show you. So you can say customer feedback. Module would be, let's say, selling, and here you can say customer link to customer. It will be mandatory field. And then you also want to fetch, let's say, customer name. So you can also fetch it in, let's say, read only field. And here you can fetch value from doc type customer. Fetch from. I don't know why fetch from is not opening. Okay, let's say there's a customer name. Oh, sorry, not reading, read only. Read only. Yeah, and then you have insert below, let's say, a support rating. Wherein you can see it's a rating field. And here you can also say, like, I think if you mention 10 years, then it will show you, it will give you option for 10 stars. If you just put 5, it will, by default, it will give you a rating for 5 stars. So you can make a form like this. No, not this. And then, okay, so you have this form which is created, customer rating, wherein customer can select and then this they can give a rating. And then what you can create is basically a web form. So through a web form, what you can say is title customer feedback, for example. And here there's a select customer feedback and the doc type, get fields. The fields are also generated and saved. So this basically you can also publish it and you can see it on the website, right? But this form is there, but no one can see it in a way, right? So what you can do, okay, you can also basically kind of maybe hide the customer field. The customer should be automatically updated or fetched. But you basically share this particular link through some notification or something, so that they get this form, they just update our customer rating or something and then submit this. So they basically see a form like this, wherein in the backend, in the customer feedback, the entry is made. Go to customer feedback, the Shah Electronics entry is received. So this custom doc type and web form and one additional feature, and using those components, I think you can enable this feature. So I think there's also a help article. We'll just search about it and get back to you. I think. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. That was
Okay.
great.
Pleasure.
Hi, Umar. I have some questions.
Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, okay. I have a question on workflow. For example, my department is having 4 or 5 people who can raise their material request. Okay. So each, and I have assigned head of the department, 5 head of the departments are there, assume. Like, for example, sales head of the department, purchase, production, something like that. 4 or 5 people are there. So when I'm raising the material request, the notification of the mail, it is going all of the 5 department head of the department persons. But I need only specific one guy has to approve that flow, workflow. The notification has to go only one guy only. So how to do that?
Yeah, so basically notifications, you can basically make multiple notifications based on condition. That in the material request, if warehouse is X, then you basically send a notification to that particular person. Or if warehouse is Y, then you basically send a note. So I mean, instead of role, which is assigned to multiple people, you'll have to basically make a configuration wherein you check the warehouse and then basically then update the specific user's email to whom notification will be sent. Or else, I mean, which is not really recommended, is to basically make multiple roles. For example, Mumbai warehouse, Bangalore warehouse, Chennai warehouse, So that way you'll have to make multiple roles, assign those roles to only those individual, and then you basically define a role into your notification setting. But that same effort, I mean, instead of then defining multiple roles, you can just set the email ID of the person responsible and just query what is the warehouse or a location for which you want to send a material request. So I think that will be better option, maybe.
Okay. Okay, that way I didn't check. Let me check that one. I think that is fine.
Sure, yeah, you can.
Is it, or else is it possible like each department had one role? We will create one role and we will tell this material request has to go to this.
Yeah, so
Because it is not-
by default, purchase manager is informed. So
Yeah.
if there is
But
any
the role of the purchase manager and the production manager have the same role of head of the department, right? So because of the same role, the mail is going both of them.
Yeah, so now that you know, I mean, you can probably control with notification or change the rules. Give limited
Yeah.
roles only. Production department don't give the role of purchase manager. Even on the production manager's role, you can give permission on material management, or material request or whatever. So it's not
Okay.
necessary that to let production manager see material request, you have to give the role of a purchase wala also. No, that's a wrong assumption. Let me share my screen again. So what you need to do is basically you go to your role permission manager, and in the role permission manager, you say that production manager, for example, or what do we call it? Manufacturing, right?
Right.
I'm sorry. Production plan. Oh, sorry. These are the doc types. Oh, my bad. Manufacturing manager. To manufacturing manager, they have permission or request for quotation, supplier quotation, operation, manufacturing. These are the thing, right? They don't have permission on, let's say, material request. So what you should do, instead of giving them manufacturing guy a role of purchase, you should make a new rule, and you say that they should also be able to see material request. Role material manufacturing manager should be able to work on material request, right? Now material request got added. Now by default it only gives read permission. Now how much you want to give, read, write, create, right? That's up to you. So
Okay,
just for the allowing access to one doc type, do not give the role, predefined role. Maybe change or add a rule here. That will be better approach.
okay. And one more question. For example, I have an item master, and each item have some attachments, right?
Mhm.
So might be some picture of that, something else.
Mhm.
So I am attaching that, but I have a similar user who can see, who can access the same item master, and they can watch everything, but they should not delete that attachment. Is there any way to restrict the user based that attachment has to should not delete by any other
Yeah,
users?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is a old feature request. Where is it in our feature list? But so right now, I think it's not there. No, quite a few people have asked for it. Attachment.
No, actually, it is on framework level, so I don't think so.
Yeah, even I'm just trying to see if there is any kind of default file upload private. Default file uploads to file. Okay, no, this is different. But deletion should not be there. So I don't know. I mean, so there's just the background of basically how this feature works. Let's say I attach some file here, right? So I attach this photo, for example. Let me make it private. So this is attached. Now, what if, let's say, we also add another user? Uh, so in this account, I exist already. Uh, sorry. Item manager role is there. So if I just try and log in to so I'm just quickly resetting the password. Now if I go to that item, okay, this guy doesn't even have access to navigation bar. Item. I don't see left bar completely. Okay. So you see, I don't see left bar completely. So I think this is also kind of some setting, navbar setting or something. So the navbar setting, I think you can set whether you want to, what kind of like permissions you want to give to which route. So maybe, I mean, if you want to give a very limited role, this could be one thing, is how you can control restricted navbar or something like that. But if I give more roles to this user, let's say purchase manager, manufacturing user, purchase user, purchase master manager, I'm sure it will mean more roles. Okay, create item manager. So role permission manager, item doc type, item manager. Item manager has read, write, create, delete permission. All of this. Okay, I can also add a new item. So this is unfortunately this is what I can think of. There are more ways wherein you can also basically kind of assign a permission. Payroll is subtopic, file manager. Yeah, so eventually it's in file manager, I'm saying. So what I was trying to do is if we can basically restrict the file manager itself, for example, tools file. So here, and if I attach this home file, right? So the person cannot also delete it from here, right? So I think this could be one option. Wherein you give limited access to sidebar and the doc types. So file manager is something on which you can give a limited access so that they can't see what's there in the file.
Okay, then if you give the file manager access to that user, then they can see the attachment also and they can remove, I think, right?
Yeah, side left bar and side file manager's permission together. I think you can control it that way, just like I controlled.
Okay,
Now there's some setting actually to enable sidebar or left bar. Unfortunately, I'm not able to locate it, but
Okay.
there is some way to basically handle it. I'm sorry for that, but I'll maybe figure out. But accidentally, I mean, whatever I showed actually solved the problem of ensuring that the people doesn't delete the file or access the file.
okay,
Yes, so we can I think move to next.
okay. And we can restrict like reports and screens, everything user wise. Like for example, I need this user can access these fields only, particular field column. I can hide. For this user, I should not view this report, and in the report, particular column, he should not. The user should not see that.
So you'll have to basically, yeah, you'll have to basically restrict it based on the PUM level. For example, there's a field called lead, right? So there's a simple logic basically. If let's say I can see this field here, right? Then I can also see this field in my report view wherever, right? If you have to basically restrict this particular field, let's say first name from me, or it's too basic, maybe let's say source field. So what you'll have to do is basically you'll have to go to doc type and change the PUM level for this particular field. Customize and for let's say source field, right? The PUM level is say PUM level by default is 0. You change it to 2, for example, right? You change it to 2, lead is updated, and then you go to role permission manager. And on the role permission manager, you say that let's say sales manager on lead, he has permission on 0 and 1, right? You also gave him permission on PUM level 2. Okay. then only sales manager will be able to see and read and write, for example. You don't give the same permission to, let's say, sales user. So sales user has permission on all the field which is on pump level 0 and 1, but not on 2, right? Then in a way, you have basically kind of restricted that field in the form, in the report, and everywhere from that particular user. So that's how you basically
Okay.
restrict the field
Okay.
using pump levels.
Okay, got it.
Nice.
And last one more. In inventory model, I have a doubt. For example, there is a backdated entry. Assume I have purchased on some parts on 1st of November for some $500 or $1,000 purchase. So I have did all the sales invoices transaction up to 23rd today. Now the weighted the valuation of the stock is a weighted average method. Assume so it has went on 200 on some $10 rate. So now assume I am going back on backdated entry by 10th of November and I am purchasing again one more entry like $1,500. Assume it is a $15 something rate. Now the already we have did some transactions on sales from 10th from 15th to 23rd. And we have told that system should have calculated by weighted average method.
Okay.
Okay, now what will happen for that weighted average which has already happened? It will recalculate again, or it will be like that one?
Yeah, it recalculates. It's a very, very heavy task to be done. So generally, we don't recommend doing post-dated or backdated entries. In this particular use case, what you mentioned, if you basically make an entry on 10th, then all the entries which is basically made after 10th, the complete stock ledger and general ledger is first deleted, and those transactions are reposted. Okay, means resubmitted in the
Oh.
backend, and the valuation rate and everything is recalculated for them, and the profitability and everything is basically derived based on the revised valuation rate of the item.
So the system will do that one, right?
Yeah, it does it in the backend.
Passing the 10th.
Yeah, it does it in the backend, but it basically, let's say, between the 10th to 23rd of the November, if you have made 1,000 invoice or 2,000 invoice, then it will take time for reposting. It happens in the backend via scheduler. It won't do it right then and there, but it will take time. And till the time it's doing reposting, you might basically find some mismatch in the values. So, firstly, it's suggested you don't do backdated entries as much as possible. It's not a best practice to follow.
Okay, thank you.
So I think there's some more question. Please explain it on is optional leave example. Company is giving one holiday for everyone in a month, which they can take only on Friday, monthly off apart from weekly off. Yeah. So by very definition, actually, optional leaves are leaves which is listed in the holiday list. It's not over and above the holiday list. And I think in the holiday list itself, there's a configuration. His weekly off is one thing. Yeah, but if you want to allocate optional leave, so maybe employee can avail on that basis. For salary, can be able to generate TDS computation for employees? Yeah, Shalaka, I think this is already covered in training, TDS computation in salary slips. Advanced tax calculation is not seen basically, but you'll have to basically make an invoice salary slip in draft to see that. But the income tax calculation can be done in ERP Next. So let me share my screen again and try to showcase the same. So here we go for income tax slab. There are a host of configurations, so I'll just run you guys through some of the configurations. So the first thing you do is basically set up the income tax slab. In the income tax slab, you can set the date effective from and mention the payment slab, and also put the condition. Let's say if this slab is applicable for male or female or anything like that. So that way you can basically mention or maintain the income tax slab. And secondly, what you have to do is also set the payroll period. So payroll period list is also very important when it comes to setting up your whole payroll, the start date and end date. So if you are, for example, doing it for 23 and starts from, let's say, December to Jan, it's pretty simple. Or else in a countries like India, wherein fiscal year starts from, let's say, April, so you can also do it on that basis. And then very important is basically you have a salary component. So in the salary component, what you do is basically for income tax, you have to ensure that this particular field, variable based on taxable salary, is checked. So while you basically checked a taxable component, for example, basic salaries tax applicable. So whatever value which will be calculated for basic, tax will be applied. Same way, let's say for house rent allowance, if you want to, or other dearness allowance or something like that, if you want to configure that component, you only check this particular field is tax applicable. But the component in which income tax will be calculated, you basically check this particular field, variable based on taxable salary. Means this component will have a variable salary based on whatever the accumulation of, let's say, taxable components of the employee minus the exemptions and number of months left in the year, the income tax for the employee will be calculated. And I'm sure, I think I'll find one salary structure made on these lines, wherein you have a basic and house rent allowance, and you have one income tax component. But here amount is zero, right? The amount put here is zero. It will automatically calculate because variable based on taxable salary is set. When you make a salary slip, in the salary slip, it will automatically calculate the value based on taxable income. So didn't we make any other account? Okay. Anyways, I mean, I think our trainer used other account. But in salary slip, if you can just kind of imagine for that particular employee, this value is basically fetched from a formula, but income tax is automatically calculated. I didn't calculate it manually. Neither it is mentioned in the salary structure component. In salary structure, it is zero. It is left zero, right? You have just defined the base. House rent allowance is amount, and this is zero, but still in salary slip, it calculates the amount based on your income tax slab, your overall income, and yeah. So hope that answers your question. So leave policy has to be assigned every year. Just like your payroll period has to be made, leave policy also has to be made. So, Haika, what you can do is basically you can have multiple holiday list, and you can assign that holiday list to an employee. For example, I can make another holiday list which has, let's say, this is all weekly off, right? So I can say I'll duplicate it, uh, and I'll say and holidays and Monday off, for example. If you are giving lots of employee off on Monday, right, because you are into retail or something. So instead of Sunday, let me just pick this, delete. You can have all sort of holidays, and you can say that this for this particular employee the holiday is on say Saturday and Monday, just for the sake of example, right? So you can just save it in the holiday list, and then you can go to employee, and in the employee then you basically don't link that normal or standard holiday list. You basically link the other one, attendance and leaves, right? So here you link that Monday off wala holiday list. So this is how you can, link, maintain multiple holidays and link it with the employees. No, not at all. I mean, you can identify the leaves which are earned leaves, and some leaves can be based on allocation. For example, uh, privilege leave can be allocated in the beginning of year, so it's not an earned leave. Every company has to give, let's say, 10 sick leaves, some privilege leave and things, 21 leaves in a year, right? So that can be allocated in the beginning of year itself. So those are not earned leaves. If you have to basically make something like an earned leave or something, then you can just come here and check and define the formula. So the more time the employee spends with your employee, with your company, I'm sorry, the leave allocation will be created for that particular employee for that particular period. So it's absolutely configurable. Not all leaves are earned leaves. Can we create credit note only on amount base and not on item written, Bhaskar? You can change the amount, Bhaskar, I think, or you can make a journal entry. I think journal entry will be better approach if you just want to make it based on amount. But since in case of invoice, if there is some return happening, then it's simpler. Or in other case, you can simply make a journal entry if you just want to make it based on item. Or you can also have one common item, like a credit note item or something like that. So in credit note, you can select that item and just put the amount you want to put. So that way you can make item independent credit note. But in sales invoice, since I think this is mandatory, you will have to select an item. I don't know. Let me also try. Even though say item itself is not mandatory, uh, but I think it will validate. So here I can say that this is my credit note for a customer, wherein I don't want to select an item, but I can allocate it later. Here I won't select any value. I'll just put, let's say, 5,000. So item name is, it's not asking for item name, but item code, but item name. So I can put item name may credit note for XYZ and test description, whatever. So it helps you give some context. And there were, I think, more fields, UM and income account, right? So UM would be, shouldn't be required in the sense box, doesn't matter. And income account could be sales or whatever income account you want to select. Conversion factor is mandatory. Okay. Okay, this is the validation. So no, I think it doesn't allow, but even though there is a value, I don't know which conversion factor it is talking about. Maybe you can also report it if you want to. That at least conversion factor is there. So the kind of validation message which we are seeing is not accurate. So they should simply say that you select an item, or it should basically allow you to submit this kind of general credit note with these values. So you can maybe just take a screenshot of this and also share with the team if you want to. If you have already taken, I'll remove this. But simple to make a journal entry, I think there is also one option you can think of. So I have not mentioned the leaves to be earned, but it's treating it like that. I don't know, Haika, what you mean. Maybe you can unmute yourself and mention. Earned leave is very different. It's allocated based on some achievement, like how much time you have spent with the company. And based on that, it auto allocates. Rest of the privilege leave and sick leave, if earned leave is not checked and you have allocated, then anyone can apply anytime. If they don't have to like complete say 2 months, 3 months or anything like that. Shalaka, cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchase manufacturing minus consumption. This amount should match with trial balance amount of COGS. I don't know, because this sounds like some made up formula or some tally expert. But if it is not matching, I don't know what should be done. I mean, maybe right question for in CA. This kind of sounds hurt. Some customer maybe ask you, so you are asking me. Is it possible to generate original duplicate replicate invoice? Is it still required? Like really, maybe what you can do is you can have 3 different formats, or in one format only, you can basically print that invoice multiple times with different heading. So you can maybe do that. Repeat letterhead every time. It depends what customer you have selected, I think. In general entry, for which customer you are making, is there any outstanding invoice or anything like that? Based on that, it shows you the reference. So you'll have to see what values you're selecting, what customer you're selecting. Aditi, can we see stock balance in multiple conversion factor? I guess not, but I think there is some report for product bundle. So there, I think if you have made a bundle or something, or maybe you can make a bundle, and there you can see stock balance, available stock for packing items. If you make a product bundle, so how for making a laptop set, how many laptop you would be needing, or how many laptop sets you can make given the available quantity, you can just see it here. And it's actually coming from product bundle. So in product bundle, you have mentioned that you need Apple Magic Mouse and you need MacBook Pro, right? And if you basically get one quantity, then you can make this item. So by seeing the stock balance of these 2 items, it is suggesting, this report is suggesting you can make 40 laptop sets. So maybe you can look at this item, this report, if you want to. And it could also be a different report. I mean, I don't know, but it could be a different report. So we can make a picture request for this, or send a PR if you are already like you have a development team. You can also contribute.
Hi, Umar. Again, and one more question. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Each module will have one settings, right? Master settings, like for example, inventory settings, account settings, something like that, right? So there, does that have company wise? For example, we can create multiple companies in one ERP Next, right? But we can do the
No,
settings.
no. Those are global settings. Those are global settings. Whatever, because whatever was possible on company level, I think we have moved it to company master. So in the company master itself, you'll see lots of settings. And that's the reason basically why we moved it to the company master, so that you can basically on company level, you can say whether you want to enable perpetual or you don't want to enable perpetual or anything like that. So in some sense, yeah, everything can be set based on company level, but whatever is there on the setting page only of that module applies globally to all companies.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah, hi.
hi, this is Shalaka. I have one question regarding cost of goods sold. The opening stock plus purchase of manufacturing material minus consumption is equal to cost of goods sold. Is it tally with our trial balance?
I don't know. I tried answering. I mean, if it's a standard accounting convention or how it is, did you find some issue into it? Basically, what ERP Next does, how perpetual accounting works is basically pretty straightforward. Till the time the stock remains in your warehouse, it reflects in your stock in hand account. Only if you have consumed or delivered, it goes into your cost of goods sold. So that's a standard process which is also audited and approved by the accountants and CAs and whatnot. Now, this particular formula, who's demanding? Is there any issue? Like,
Right now, our COGS amount is not tally with our trial balance.
yeah, so that there could be multiple issues. Why COGS is not calculating? Like, for example, was there any backdated entries? In the reposting process, was all entries correctly reposted and whatnot? So it could be a data related issue. We'll have to basically dig deep and then come out as to why that mismatch is there.
Okay, then at our end, how to find out that mistake, where it goes wrong?
You'll have to see transaction to transaction. Maybe consider a broader period. Compare the value of, let's say, first 6 months with the stock balance. So you see that okay, there is some mismatch. Then you keep shrinking the period. You only see it for 3 months. So for first 3 months, let's say value is matching with stock balance and account balance. For last second 3 months or second quarter, the value is not mismatching, right? So once you identify that, okay, for the second month, the value is mismatching in second quarter, then you see it on month to month basis. Let's say in first month it is matching, in second month it is not matching. In second month, you basically then again shrink it to first 15 days, second 15 days. So you basically kind of just keep seeing the stock balance report and value in the stock account or wherever, if it is matching or not matching, and see it period to period and till the time you find the transaction. And if you find a transaction, maybe repost it. So there's also a way to repost a transaction. I don't know. You don't have to basically rely on us. If you have access, you can also repost a transaction in your ERPNX account. There's also a manual for it. But yeah, you have to basically do that debugging. So yeah, this is the internal documentation. I don't know if it will be accessible to you guys, but this is the process for you to repost.
Okay.
But maybe we can kind of like PDF it and share it with the team. So
Okay.
you yourself can also repost a transaction. If there is a mismatch, it's best to repost.
Okay. Okay. There is one more question regarding our printing sales invoice.
Yeah, I answered that question. No, you'll have to basically make maybe 3 different print format. In one print format, if you can accommodate using print format builder, you can try doing that. Otherwise, you'll have to make a 3 different print format with different heading.
Okay. We have any, if one more question regarding assets. If we purchase 5 chairs at one day, then it automatically creates 5 chairs, different chairs.
You mean serialize the inventory or something? Are you referring to serialized inventory? Okay, you purchase only 5, like one purchase receipt or something, and it created 5 records.
Yes, yes. Then it automatically creates 5 chairs, different. 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 4 chairs, 5 chairs. Then if we want to make one single entry for 5 chairs, is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, you have to just ensure for that particular item, serialized inventory is unchecked or not checked. What is probably, you understand how serialized inventory work, right? May I know which company you're coming from?
PCO Sports Private Limited, Wagle Street, Thane.
Okay, are you a Frappe partner or individual user? Okay, individual. Okay, nice. Let me show you. For example, item. I mean, let us validate if what you are asking is correct. You are saying chair, right? Item group could be anything, and maintain stock, edit form, and inventory section. May I'll say has serial number and chair. Save. So I save this item, right? So when I make a purchase receipt, you're saying that when you purchase from, let's say, when you purchase this item, chair, 5 quantity at the rate of, let's say, 100.
Actually, sir, one second. I don't want this. I want to clarify on the asset. If we make asset,
Acha, you mean okay, you want bundled asset. So that feature has been developed actually, and it will be upcoming in the next, I think in next version. Currently, it is part of, I think asset module is part of core for ERPNX only, right? I think in next version we'll be separating asset and you'll be able to create bundled assets.
okay.
So right now, yeah, it's I think not possible.
One more question. If it is possible to generate columnar register as per tally, is it possible?
Register. I mean, we are not trying to basically provide all the reports like tally, but all the standard reports like trial balance and everything is columnar. Even general ledger report is there. So all basic reports is there. If you want some custom report, you can export data into Excel and make your own report as per your requirement. And
Okay.
even I mean, ERPNX provides all the GST reports also, like GST R1, R3B, all this report if you install India Compliance Act. So by register, do you mean sales register, purchase register, which register? All these reports are as per the statutory compliance only. So you can try these reports, I think. Even in the accounting report, you will find sales register and purchase register report also. Report sales register, which is again columnar, and you can also add custom fields if you want to add a column or something. So you can also add it from here. Report menu, add a column, and pick a column you want to add in a report.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, this
Thank-
way you can look at these reports.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Omer. It's Aditi here. So actually, this is a scenario of import buying. In PO, I'm having an exchange rate of 80 USD. Take an example, INR to USD. And while purchasing it, it's around 90. So can we make such transactions where PO exchange rate is something different and exchange rate is something different?
Yeah, you can absolutely. Because income tax rate keeps fluctuating. In PO, what actually you do is basically you make a transaction in your supplier's currency, right? So suppliers only see $100. For them, even in purchase invoice, it is $100 only, right? Just because exchange rate is changing, the amount in INR would change for you in the backend, and that's only for our reference. That doesn't change for the supplier. For supplier, it is $100 only, right? You can change the exchange rate in purchase invoice. It is permitted. In fact, even in the payment entry, it can be different, right? So in purchase invoice, it can be, let's say, 80. By the time you receive the payment and the negotiate exchange rate with the bank, let's say bank gives you say 83 ka exchange rate. So you have to pay more money or less money or whatever. And in the payment entry, you can basically put the difference amount, the purchase invoice and payment entry amount, whatever the difference is due to exchange rate, you can actually put it in the exchange gain or loss account.
Okay, okay.
That's
So
typically how it is accounted.
okay, so manually, but I can't change the exchange rate in the purchase receipt, right?
You can,
Because
I mean, I don't know, it's not editable, is it?
no, actually, whenever we create a PO of the amount, it gives an error that PO amount and PR amount should be same. Because due to exchange rate, the amounts get reflected.
Yeah,
So
that amount, that change in amount is actually in your base currency.
yeah,
So I think if you're changing exchange rate and you want to change exchange rate, it should be permitted. It's just that validation which is there in buying settings, I think, right? That maintains same rate throughout purchase cycle.
yeah, correct.
That validation should be applicable only for the main rate, the customer's rate, not the base currency rate. So maybe you can raise an issue for this, and we can try and escalate. I think this validation should not be applicable on the amount in the base currency.
Okay, okay. I'll just check this out.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
sure.
And one more question. Actually, I was configuring the income tax for payroll. So in that, I could find that for current payslip for this month, the income tax rate is something different, and for the next month, the rate is something perfectly fine. So any guesses why this can be the case?
No data related issue. I'm sorry, I can't make any judgments.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. But one thing actually which we are trying to fix in this in the HR is basically, let's say if you start in the middle of a year, your let's say financial year starts from April, and your implementation is actually going live in October, right? So there
Yeah,
will be some income tax which is already deducted for
yeah,
that employee, which is not there in the ERP next, right? So just like
yeah,
we update stock opening balance and account opening balance, we'll also basically provide a provision to update the income tax which is already paid by that employee for the current financial year. If the total
Okay.
taxable income of the employee and the total income tax amount for a year is, let's say, 1,20,000, right?
Yeah.
So system will assume every month that it should be 10,000. But if a person has already paid, let's say 30,000 or so, it will accommodate that and then calculate the monthly taxable income. So I think once that feature comes in the next release, hopefully, I think this issue should be gone.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Sir, there is one more question regarding the TCS on goods sold. In middle, we are applying the TCS on goods sold by using the tool which is provided by the Frappe.
Tax withholding, yes, yes.
Yes, before that, we did a TCS with JV, through JV. But
Awesome.
at the middle, we started withholding, through withholding. It is not considered our previous JV.
Yeah. How will it consider? Right, right.
Then how to rectify this?
Uh,
We don't have a idea regarding withholding tax. After we take your sessions, then we apply withholding tax. Before that, we deduct.
yeah, understood. I understood your point actually. So basically, it looks at the cumulative value, right, of the orders from the customer.
How to rectify that?
Yeah, so you'll have to, I think, make backdated transactions. If you want that in the future transactions, it should apply TCS. What system does is basically to check if TCS should be applied or not. It basically looks at the value of previous orders. Okay, but if previous orders itself is not there in ERP Next, it will not be able to determine whether to apply TCS or not apply TCS. So for that particular case, I think you'll have to make backdated sales order. If just making sales order works for you, I think that will be good enough. If there are lots of sales orders, you can also import via Excel file. Or if there are not many, you can also make the backdated sales order through sales order screen. So, but if that helps you, if helps system review the overall cumulative order placed by that customer and determine that, okay, TCS has to be applied, then it will solve your use case.
Okay, means we have to do a backdated entry for the sales order.
I hope it should. So maybe what you should do is, like, threshold is 50 lakh, right? So
Yes.
just pick one customer, just make one backdated order of say 52 lakh or something, just one backdated order, and then make one more sales order for that same customer. And if TCS is applied for that particular customer, means it's working. Okay,
Okay.
that's how you can validate.
Okay.
Okay, so we are taking last question. If anyone has any questions, please ask. If not, then we can wind up this session.
Yeah, and I mean, its product is ERP, right? So questions will never end. It's an infinite product, infinite use cases. But there are host of platforms you can ask your questions, like discuss forum and their community chats and whatnot. So I think we'll stay connected there.
There is one more question on GST. We can take that up and then we can end the session.
After GST submission, it's possible to lock back the particular month or lock a particular month. Yeah, so this is something which is, I think you'll have to unmute yourself. I'm sorry, mute yourself. Oh, yeah. So you can use accounting period feature. So in account setting, there's one feature to basically freeze the accounting. You can also use that. It applies globally to all the transactions. If you want to put a freezing date on transaction to transaction, every month, then you can use accounting period feature. Select a transaction and yeah, just check it and it will be frozen. So let me, since my screen is shared. Sorry, accounting period. So here you can just yeah, put a date, let's say October, for example. If you have already closed the October, you can just say October start date and end date, and yeah, close, whatever all these accounting transaction, it will be closed and you will not be allowed to make a backdated entries into it. So this is one thing you can use.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for attending this today's session. If you have any other questions, you always have the TG group to ask those questions, and we'll share the assignment with you by tomorrow morning. And accordingly, we can, we'll share the deadline also, and then you can start preparing for your assignment and the evaluations. Okay.
Hope you found it useful. Thanks very much.